Okay. I wonder if this will start up as the same thing or if it will start a new one. Oh, I need that. Yeah, same title. Welcome back. What's up, guys? What's up? For those of you tuning in for the first time tonight, I had just started live streaming for about 25 minutes before, but then dinner was ready and I kind of wanted to eat, so we stopped in the middle of that. But now we're picking it back up. Okay, that's good for now. I think the whole theme of this thing might be that it's not perfect. But we'll do our best. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, now we can really need our calipers. I really should get my calipers, but I'm not going to. I need to go to my local Joann's and get some blaze orange fabric. What are you planning on using that for? Got some plans for that. Use that kind of like a straight edge. Neck wrap. Fair. So we got a line scribed there, and that should be about where we want to be for that. It's a little bit big, but we obviously want to sand that down to size. Something distinguishing from me when I go to war, lower the chance of being friendly fire. That sounds fair. That was fast. Did my best. Gonna run this through the bandsaw, so give me 1 second. Headphone users, please beware. So we took off just a little bit here. And that's obviously a rough finish, but the first tiny little bit of that goes in, so we're on the right track. So let's try to level this out a little bit. Now let's start with the file. Hey, Orange Scarf is on our team. I think have you guys all seen what's it called? Justice League, the live action one that came out a little bit ago. A while ago now. I think DC's problem is casting. They really suck at casting. And like I don't know, like the Marvel movies, there are so many movies with the same character, you're like already attached to them from the beginning of the movie. But with DC, you can't get attached to them because they switch out like every freaking movie. And to be quite honest, they just don't match up the people well. Like Lois was like a freaking red-haired girl in Justice League, and that just doesn't make any sense. But whatever. Typically don't watch movies. Yeah, I typically don't either. Like the guy who played Flash, that's not who I see as Flash, to be quite honest. But I think he did a good job. But I hated his costume. Okay, so that's good. So that's like not really fitting in there. That's a good sign. It means we still got a little bit of room to play with. That's Heather, so you guys know that I am obligated to answer that. Otherwise I'd mute it, but I want to be able to hear it. Plus, it was mainly Batman complaining for the entire movie, not really doing anything about it. I think Ben Affleck did a fine job playing Batman. I just think Batman was written poorly in that rendition. I actually think he did a pretty decent job. I just think he was written as a character terribly. Although, to be fair, it's at least going in the right direction this time, as opposed to a lot of their other stuff, which is just freaking awful. Like, there was a few moments that, you know, were laughable or whatever. It definitely is nowhere near what Marvel is doing, but at least they're going in the right direction, right? I just don't want to go too far in this sanding. This side's a little bit thicker than the other side here. Green Lantern was pretty awful. Like, Marvel doesn't have a perfect score, but there are so many good movies that they have out there that it kind of makes up for it a little bit. Or at least there's enough buffer there that we forget about them, right? I haven't seen Black Panther yet, but I want to. I heard it was really good. I don't really find it necessary to ever see them in the theater, though. Like, that's nice, too, but freaking, like, $9 a ticket or something. Yeah. The only time I ever really see movies anymore is with Heather, and she obviously doesn't usually want to see that kind of stuff, so I don't mind. It's definitely the longest running chain series. Cohesive chain. Like, by a lot. The only really giant flop that they had was the first Hulk movie. When they, like, back before the chain was even a thing. And that was so bad because of who it was directed by and everything that they just completely ignored it and were like, nope, sorry, that one doesn't exist. Like, they knew that one was freaking terrible. She when she goes to the movies, she usually likes to watch horror stuff, which generally I'm not allowed to go with her because I laugh during the movie. Because I used to play things like Amnesia, and so things like that are a little bit predictable for me. But she usually goes with her friend to the movies. We'll see stuff every now and again. Hey, Noel, what's up? Kind of taking our time here, getting this decent. I suppose it doesn't need to be perfect, then I could just Dremel this, but we'll wait till I'm in a huge rush before we start rushing. I can probably take off way more of this because it's still like friction in there, so. Watching in mobile VR. That's interesting. How is that for you? The VR Netflix would actually be completely usable and useful if it wasn't the way it was. Oh, that was a bit of a lag spike there. If it wasn't the way it was. How it works right now if you don't have VR is basically you're in a virtual room sitting with a virtual television in front of you watching Netflix. How stupid is that? If you lay down, the screen doesn't move with you. The screen is still there. Like, the only reason why that would be useful is if you're laying down. So, like, they should have an option where it completely encloses your vision. But whatever. It's really stupid. Spider-Man Homecoming was definitely really, really good. They finally nailed... Because Tobey Maguire, the first Spider-Man movies, he played a good Peter, but not a very good Spider-Man. The next guy, I don't even remember what his name is, he played a great Spider-Man, but a freaking awful Peter. And then they finally nailed it with Homecoming. Heather just got off work, that's why. Andrew Garfield, yeah. They definitely did a good job with the Vulture wingsuit. They could have very easily made that goofy or silly or something stupid, but they did a good job on it. That's how Spider-Man was in the movies, or in the comics. Did a lot of talking. But Tobey Maguire just didn't portray that at all. Which is both Tobey Maguire's fault and the director's fault. I think it's more so the director's fault, but... You guys talking about? We're talking about, like, Marvel movies and DC movies and stuff. We're getting a little bit further in there, but it's still pretty freaking tight. If you're doing anything like this, whether it's like cutting with a hacksaw or something, it's very tempting to take small little strokes like this, and you might think that you're doing fine, and if you can go faster, that would be even better. But actually, the longer strokes you get like this, you can actually go pretty slow, and it's going to be doing way more work than me going like this really fast. So, less work, faster, better. A little more accurate, because going like this back and forth, you might tend to sway that back and forth a little bit. But longer strokes are easier to control. I like Suicide Squad. Am I crazy? Suicide Squad was okay. That's kind of like DC's maximum is like, that was an okay movie, which is unfortunate. But like, it didn't have a very great bad guy, in my opinion. It's raining sideways in Dallas. It was raining earlier. So I'm assuming that's the storm that we got earlier today. BRB, not a problem. DC needs better writing. DC needs better writing, better casting. I think the most that they would benefit right now is casting. They are terrible at casting. They're trying to be like politically correct and like changing Jimmy Olsen to a black guy and changing freaking Lois Lane to a redheaded girl, and like especially Victor Stone, what's his name, Cyborg, like, yeah, okay, like that's probably the closest one. Wonder Woman did a great job, but like freaking The Flash, Barry, that's not what I picture at all. Oh my god, the worst one was Aquaman. Aquaman was freaking terrible. Like, the actor is fine, but the casting of that was terrible. When you think Aquaman, you think this blonde-haired pretty boy, not freaking that. You know what I mean? CW Flash is best Flash. Yeah, I do. I really do like him. I don't watch The Flash religiously or whatever, but I definitely like him the best out of all the live-action Flashes. We are currently working on my Alpha Snooper. This is a project, an HPA project that I'm working on. Trying to get it for mid-March. We have an NIC war. Because I'm not going to have enough money for Dogma. So I kind of want an NIC primary in between there. So this is just a pump action HPA blaster. I saw the first season of Legends of Tomorrow. It was alright. Not my favorite. But I think DC definitely needs to stick with, number one, animations, because their animations that they release, like movie animations, are the freaking best. Like, they can't be freaking touched. But they also are pretty good at, like, movie, television. But, like, so, like, freaking Supergirl is terrible, by the way. But I don't know. I think they should stick with animations. Honey Badger is super cool. Yeah, Honey Badger came out good. Ooh, we went much better in there. That's much better. We're getting there. We're getting there. Where's my wire brush? I have no idea where my wire brush is. Oh crap, I almost fell out of my chair. I think they're relying too much on Superman is so iconic, Batman so iconic, because like DC's lineup of main characters is so iconic that it's almost untouchable, and that's kind of the mindset that they've had. But in recent years, especially with the Marvel movies coming up, now Iron Man is almost as well known as Superman. And so if DC isn't careful, they might actually start falling behind on most popular characters, which is weird because, you know, Superman, Batman, like who can match that in popularity and stuff. But if you actually think about it, I mean, Iron Man is getting up there. That's with all DC movies, unfortunately. Like, all DC stuff is they're trying to be politically correct and crap. It's so freaking stupid. Like, quit changing the only time Marvel tried that was with the Fantastic Four movie, the newer one. Oh my god, that movie was so terrible. Where they had the Human Torch was black. And it was like, oh, he was adopted or whatever. That was so freaking stupid. For those of you who don't know, the girl in the Fantastic Four and the guy who's on fire are supposed to be brother and sister. Yeah, exactly. That was a different. Well, in terms of like mainstream stuff, I would say Batman and Superman completely eclipse Spider-Man. Off-topic question: do you have, like, when you think superhero, Superman, Batman? Those are the first two that I think of. Do you have absurdly small hands or something? Why do you like the Hyperfire stock? The one thing about the Hyperfire that makes it uncomfortable for me is the distance between here and here. On the Hyperfire, it's ridiculously small. Like, stupid small. On this, it's actually extended quite a bit. So that already makes it a lot more comfortable, in my opinion. But I also bulge this right here and make it a claw grip like this, as opposed to a regular pistol grip. So if you hold this like a regular pistol grip, it's going to be really awkward and weird, and it's going to feel weird, and this is going to be in the way and stuff like that. But if you hold it like a claw grip, and I hold mine like that, then I've just gotten used to it. Maybe that's not the most comfortable for other people, but I've gotten so used to it that that's... I mean, I've been running it this way for almost 2 years now, so I've just kind of gotten used to it. If you don't like it, I understand. I don't know what was wrong with the original Fantastic Four where they felt the need to remake it. I thought the original Fantastic Four one was just fine. It wasn't the best movie, but it was fine. I would argue that Batman is a better character. I love Spider-Man. The original comic version of Spider-Man, which is way closer to the Homecoming version of Spider-Man, like almost dead on, is arguably one of my favorite characters, arguably one of my favorite superheroes. But Batman, in terms of like better character, like better interesting character, that might be Superman. Or excuse me, Batman. Superman sucks. I hear Achievement Hunter talk about It's Always Sunny a lot, but I haven't seen it. I was mainly referring to how the palm rests. Does the claw grip fix that? How the palm rests? No, it doesn't. Because I'm mainly holding like that, so my palm rest isn't even really touching the grip there. If you're trying to pistol it, then it should be, and that's why it feels weird, because it's pressing up against here. But if you have a claw grip, you're just kind of sticking your thumb through. That's like the normal position there. I also I either hold mine tightly like this, or I completely loose grip it. So I'm basically only holding it like this. Get a really loose grip in there. Because I hold mine by the magazine down here. I carry another magazine in my offhand. The magazine down here. Realistically, it's more comfortable up here, but it's way, in practical terms, it's way easier to hold it by here, because then you can go boop boop and have another magazine ready to go. So I should probably move this. I'm getting nowhere on this fast. Oops. Oh, there we go. That almost got stuck. That's pretty far in there. I don't know how much more we need to go on this, but that is... on this side, that's pretty good. I think that might actually be the end right there. So I'll go ahead and stop sanding that, I think. So let's go ahead and measure this depth one more time. Wedge is right there. How am I going to measure that? I'm going to have to think about this for a second. Sorry, I'm kind of zoning out. Also finally finished my long shot. Has 4 springs. Good grief. And then you're just Spider-Man. Oh, hey, Wacom. So, what priceless treasure are we destroying stuff into a strife? Nothing to do with the strife, but we are destroying a blue Alpha Trooper. So you already killed the... was it? Yeah. Really like the stock, so I need to get another one, but it died. Let's mark what side's what here. So we kind of need to depth gauge this. I really should... I really need to get my calipers at this point. Hold on, let me get my calipers. They're downstairs. Give me 1 sec, guys. Okay. Now that we have the proper measuring tool. Yes, it is actually called the Alpha Snooper at this point. I just wanted your opinion on it, but you're too cool to be online anywhere else. And he's gone. Which one did you get? By the way, I saw that Chronos on Discord looks great. I didn't do anything to it. I mean, I returned the locks, but... Or, removed the locks, but... Well, that just barely fits in there. Wait, what? There's no way that's... Is that really the depth? Wow, that's nothing. Okay. Well, good thing I freaking got that. Holy crap. It's way less than I thought. So we need to take that chunk. You see that little line right there? Barely. That we just carved in there. Need to bring that down a little bit. I wonder if that ding was Wacom. That was Wacom. Let's all judge Wacom together. Okay, so we got a $50 soldering station. Xtronic. I mean, I don't have any personal experience with this one. I got the Hako or whatever it is because that's the only one that had like good reviews like across the board, but oh crap. One of them's getting like red hot or something. Where's this? Jeez. Well, I mean, it has good reviews, so why not? Some people are saying it's like cheap plastic and stuff. Some people complaining about the cable. But if it works for you. That one's only 100. So that goes in there like that, and then what's the overall depth of this? BRB got me some pizza. Good deal. So that's the overall depth. So we should be coming to right about here. I'm gonna go eat then. Thanks, baby. Have fun. Have a fun stream. Thanks, Qualcomm. Appreciate it. Okay, yeah, so that goes in all the way. That goes up right to the line there, which is exactly what we want. And so let's go ahead and file this guy down right here. We'll make a little groove to kind of guide us. Did I say groove? That's not going to work. Let's use the Dremel. I don't feel like screwing with that. Now I'll just level it out a little bit with the file. So we're covering a little channel in there. Just a little ledge. Doesn't need to be super exact. Why buy wheels when you can lathe your own? Hawkeye / everyone, do you know of a tutorial for expanding an XBZ tank? One sec. This is the Caliburn barrel material, which I'm not sure exactly on the pressure rating, but I know people have used it before. But it fits, or not barrel material, Caliburn plunger tube material. Fits that perfectly. It's polycarbonate. This one's 1/8. If you're going to do this, maybe I would recommend this is 1/16. If you're going to use this, maybe recommend 1/8. Same inner diameter, obviously. Thicker outer diameter. That fits in there perfectly like that. That fits in there perfectly like that. When you cut this in half, what you're going to find is a little rod that goes in between here. There's a cup on one end and a little rubber piece on the other. Going to chop that in half and extend it the same distance that you extend this. Did you catch all that? Hello, I'm going to kill you, Hawkeye. Hello, Neil. Why are you going to kill me? I'm assuming has this on Etsy. What? Seems easy enough. Okay, Neo. Oh well. Hi, Neo. Oh, never mind. I know why Neo's gonna kill me. I remember now. He commented on Instagram. I'm having a pink crossbow coming soon and shoving an air tank in it. You murdered an elite alpha trooper. You want to know something even better? I have a new in-box orange alpha trooper that I got for $12 and I still haven't opened it. I wanted to cut up this one. And I also have an original yellow one, which I still wanted to cut up the blue one. Does it hurt? Does it hurt, Neil? His tube on Etsy. You can also look up, or even ask if you're super lazy, what polycarbonate that he gets. I can't remember the inner diameter. Actually, I have the tank right here. I could tell you. It's the maybe 3/8. No. Is that 3/8? Yeah, 3/8. 3/8 inner diameter polycarbonate. Where'd you get the 12? Black Friday. Falcon 9 launcher tomorrow. I have no... Oh, Falcon 9 not launches tomorrow? I don't know what that is. SpaceX? Okay. I'm not keeping up with it. Why is that typed out weird? 17:30 seconds for 15:30 seconds for breast for darts. So 17:30 seconds is a smaller one. 9/16 is the bigger one that slips over it directly. The 9/16 darts will fall right through. 17:30 seconds darts are pretty tight. So, depending on what you're doing. Generally 17:30 seconds, but it kind of depends on what you're doing. Hello everybody. Some new people dropping in here. How's everybody doing today? Still a little bit tighter than I would like it to be. It's a little better. May I ask what you're doing exactly? So we have this little polycarbonate tab, and this is 1/2. So I want to double this in thickness. And then there's a slot inside of here that we're trying to make this fit inside, which, by the way, that fits good now. And there's a little bit of a ledge in here, so I'm carving that in so that it sinks in there properly. And basically there's going to be a thumb screw on the outside of here where I can remove this, and then this polycarbonate is going to be attached to the blaster itself back here. Now that I'm looking at this, I probably should have extended this polycarbonate out further to get better purchase on there. Now I'm wondering if I need to redo this whole thing. Damn it. The ledge needs to be a little bit deeper. Because the tank is going back here. Just like that. Shoot. Yeah, that's gonna bother me. Damn it. It was my own fault. Now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. For this particular part, yes. Because it's going to be bearing the entire load. If we have something like this... then we can flip that around and do the same thing here. That'll make our two L-shaped brackets there. Yeah, dang it. Well, that was a waste of time. Damn. At least I'll have a better estimate of where this is fitting. Damn it. And a little bit of a waste of polycarbonate. Oh well. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Give me 1 sec. We're going to turn on the bandsaw here, so if you're blasting headphones right now, you might want to turn those down just a little bit for a split second here. We're going to turn on the bandsaw. Here we go. The big piece cut off. That last little weird sound was a little piece getting stuck in the blade, but it doesn't matter because I turned it off anyway. Ugh, makes my ears ring. Okay, so now that we have an actual foothold in the blaster itself, because I was an idiot. There's no fit. So what we're going to do here is figure out where this needs to sit on the blaster exactly. Let's carve that down. I have a little silver line there where I need the angle. I already measured this before. Let's just go ahead with sandpaper. going in circular pattern like this is way faster than going back and forth like this, because you're always in motion rather than going forward, stopping, going back and stopping. But one thing you might do with this is you have a tendency to roll your wrist. So just try to be careful. Try to move your whole arm and keep your wrist right here locked. You're still going to have a tendency to do that, but it's going to be a lot less than if you're just trying to move your wrist around. So try to lock your wrist a little bit. Sorry, I missed some of these comments. What makes a bandsaw better than a scroll saw other than the increased thickness of a possible cut? It's amazing how the speed difference when you're going from a jigsaw to a constant motion that's one way. Bandsaw is much better, in my opinion. The only reason why I would use my scroll saw is if I had to take off the blade and specifically put it in something where I wouldn't have a cut going into, like a hole cut or something. Only reason why I would use it now. Because I thought the same way until I actually got to both of them, and then I realized how wrong I was. I would be using my wire brush to clean the paper, but I'm not sure where that is right now. It's getting a little bit closer, so I think we can start using the file. Give me 1 second to answer that. I freaking hate human beings. People trying to think they're helpful. Posted a buy sell trade thing. I'm asking for katana mags because I want to see if I can get them third party cheaper, like used. And someone just replied to my thing. You know, if you look up at eBay Jet Blaster, they have some for sale. It's like, no kidding, they have some for sale. But you know, like, I do know how to use Google. We're fixing a stock to the back of this. I only have a scroll saw. We have a bandsaw, but it's extremely old and not in perfect function. What would you recommend for a cheap bandsaw? I just got a Ryobi for nerfing purposes. It's completely fine. It's like $140 or something like that. I'm not sure. You'll have to double check on that. It's the big green one. Ryobi. R-Y-O-B-I. For our purposes, it's just fine. If you plan on doing anything heavier with it, it's okay. I've done up to 1-inch aluminum, which it dulls your blade super fast, by the way. But I have done up to 1-inch aluminum before without too much trouble. But mainly for plastic purposes, obviously. Let's go ahead and Dremel this. Scroll saw is bae. I don't like my scroll saw as much after getting a bandsaw. I don't like human beings either. I like you, though. They have some for sale, but generally Nerfers broke, yeah. For those of you who don't know, that's my fiance texting me. And fiance comes before the stream, unfortunately, so I shall answer every time. I like my scroll saw, but the blade length is too short for some blasters. Had hacksaw. Yeah, that's another issue. Not much, but just a little nick out of this is needed. It's just there, that V shape right here needs to fit onto there. Just like that. Maybe a little more steep of an angle here. That's much better. So that V shape right there is going to kind of fit into that groove right there that we just carved. As much as these angles right here look similar, it's not actually spot on. The angle I'm looking at is this one right here. So I'm trying to line this up with the rest of this blaster like that. If we line that up, that's just about perfect. Right about there. Are you selling this project as well as your Sledgefire? Sledgefire is already sold to someone locally. This one's going to be mine. Which, if you guys wanted to see how that came out, hold on. Sledgefire. These things are stupid fun. It's getting about 130 FPS. I haven't tested this one in particular, but I've done this mod before, and that's what it was getting, so I can only assume. Just charge it like that, close it up. Decent air seal, and that's still stock. Pop that out. Still have interchangeable barrels. 6-inch aluminum with a 1/2-inch polycarbonate spacer. Spacer is for dart retainer. And those light blue scales are unique as well. So there's a little bit of space here. You see how the stock is a little bit thicker than the handle? I'm not terribly worried about that because I have some thin polycarbonate. It's a little bit further down, but I have some thin polycarbonate. I'll probably put some plates on either side just to even it out with the stock just a little bit. If I'm gonna make my hyperfire using a mechanical pusher bar, is the Rapid Strike style one more effective, more efficient, or would an auto strike be better? Here's the thing, like with the the kits that like go back and forth. The newer one is decent. The newer one's supposedly fine. I still don't like, you know, 3D printed stuff. I think that one has metal gears, but like the stuff is still, I'm not sure. But anyway, like the one that goes back and forth is fine. The one that has the spring in the back that goes forward and then springs backwards, don't get that one. Not only is it 3D printed gears, which I've never been a big fan of 3D printing at all, let alone for working parts. But the slam of that is really hard on everything. So if you have a choice between that and a Rab Striker pusher, I would still go with the Rab Striker pusher. But the one that reciprocates normally, like there's two different ones. There's the reciprocating one that like revolves, and then the one that has the spring that just has the little half gear where it gears it forward and then the rest of the gear isn't there, so it shoots backwards. Don't get that one. What was I doing? Okay, so now that we have an idea of where this is going, so the top of the bar is just about right here. So we're not sure about depth yet, but that's going to go somewhere in here like this, somewhere like that. Where that Sharpie right here is going to be the top of that bar. So, what we shall do is duplicate this bar in here like this. Should be going somewhere like this because that's like level. I mean, nothing's going to be precise at this point. So, something like this. Let's go ahead and take this plastic off here. Benny the Mister don't care. What? What did I miss? What putty brand do you use on a, did you use on Ethereum Fortress? Wacom recommended blah 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 to stick, but something on Reddit said it's too brittle. I like the epoxy sculpt, spelled with an A. Epoxy sculpt. I like that stuff. You can get it on Amazon. It has a much longer working time, and it doesn't cure quite as hard. Which sounds a little bit weird, but if you skate a file over regular epoxy, you can hear how hard it is. You can hear the difference between epoxy and epoxy putty and epoxy sculpt. The epoxy sculpt is way softer. It's still hard, but it's way softer compared to like the freaking glass hard. It's not glass hard. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying. So let's go ahead and even out this top surface right here. I think that's where we'll go ahead and start. That's actually pretty bumpy, so I think I'm going to start with a Dremel here. Let me get a mask. Get our respirator. Welcome back, Trico. Okay. Dremel warning. we're good. Didn't make a mark. It's only 7 p.m. here. So if you're not super experienced with the Dremel, I don't recommend doing what I just did. Because remember, that's a round Dremel bit, trying to make a flat surface. Not exactly a great idea. But generally I can get an idea of where everything is. I've used it enough to even something out. But if you don't have any practice with the Dremel, you might want to practice before you try to make something flat like that. But no matter how good you are, you're never going to get it as flat as you could get it with something as simple as a file. I'll take my mask off for now. Gotta go. Keep sending, buddy. See ya. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Okay, so again, not sure if this is perfectly level this way or another, but it doesn't matter because this we can angle according to that. What we just need to do is make this stick right here, and then we'll stick it into here, and then we'll align it where we need it to be. So let's go ahead and mark this out where we want to make this. Something like that. Okay. And then that's going to go in there like that. And I'm pretty sure we don't need this entire bottom piece at all. But just in case... hold on. Give me 1 second. Just in case we decide to use it, we'll go ahead and keep this right here, because there's no point in cutting that off until we've proven that we don't need it. So let me go and run this through the bandsaw real quick, and we'll be right back. If you have headphones on, you might want to turn that down just a little bit for a second. Here we go. A little bit closer than I wanted to get on some of those cuts, but that's alright. I made a few of talking about. Show me a picture of. Just keep sending. I could scroll back, but what are you building? A HPA Alpha Trooper. Pump action. Yeah, Ivan, I really like this stock. I need to get another one. It's kind of painful because I was really trying to save it because I really like this stock. It's my favorite stock. But, gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. I know that's painful to some of you. Sorry. just trying to file down some of the high points here. Never be afraid to use something to make something that could be better. I like the stock, but that's not going to stop me from doing what I want with it. But it's a collector's item, but I like it, but blah 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 blah. No, it's just an excuse. Never let that kind of stuff hold you back. Well, I mean, if you like rare blasters, that's fine, but I mean, don't ever let that be like holding you back from your creative process or whatever. Like, if you see something in that blaster that you want to do with it, you know, just do it. I'm telling you that you should use your own blasters. If it's not yours, I wouldn't even tell you to pick it up, let alone do something to it. If you've ever been to a Nerf war, that's something you have to look out for, like new people just running up and going, "Oh, what's that?" and picking it up without even asking. It's the #1 thing to make you look like an idiot. So if you're ever new to a Nerf war or something, #1 rule is always ask before you touch something that isn't yours. Every single time. You'll get way more respect doing that. Because I guarantee if you ask, there's a 99% chance that they'll say yes, simply because you asked before you touched. Well, if he gave it to you, then why did you say your dad's? Oh, that's really tight. Oh. I'm gonna cover around into here. And around, even if it's digging in there, will be a much stronger joint than something with a square edge. Even if it cuts into it a little bit, that'll be much stronger. Well, here's hoping, Meow. You really should, Ivan. See, I know how much you overreact to stuff like that, Neo, So I know you're just trying to get me to be like, no, don't cut it up, but like I really don't care. Oh, yeah, that's still really tight. I need to find out where the high points are. I think one way I can do this is if I take some Sharpie. A good Sharpie, because this one's practically empty. Hold on. If I take a Sharpie and color this like that. Do the same on this side. Now what's going to happen is when I shove this in here, it's going to create some high points and low points. And now I can see where it's rubbing. Ben, we should do a blaster compilation. You have the rules here. 16 on the field, so that's kind of stupid. $16 is a little bit old, though. Like maybe 14. 16 seems a little bit old. Just wonder what you think of dual Titan air compressed. What I actually had an idea for was a giant double barrel shotgun with some PVC things. I think I have it somewhere that I never got past, like just making the shell of it. But like 2 PVC couplers together that could hold tanks. I found the right size that like fits over it, and you just have like these 2 massive double barrels and then like a normal size handle or something, but never got around to it. But I mean, if that's your style, man, go for it. I like the idea. It'd be a really fun blaster once it's done. It would definitely need to be air compressored, though, of some kind. Otherwise, the pumping would just be way too much work. Yes, I'm gonna paint this eventually. See, look, that fits so much better now. Just that one little do with the Sharpie. That fits 1,000 times better. Okay. Just gonna go up there like that, so we should be right about good. So now we need to make that notch, which we can just do by going this way and marking it with a Sharpie. Now we need to cut that notch. Hold on one sec. Yeah, I don't know where that shell thing is. I was gonna try to show it, but I don't know where that is. I'm not gonna go around all over the place looking for it. Mask is going on. So I'll put that on that side, so yeah. Give me 1 sec for the drama. Earphone users beware. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Hey, what's up, Snail? I think it's 13, but you're gonna have to go on the page and ask or look for the rules or something to get a confirmation on that. You definitely need a parent if you're under 18 though, which is completely understandable. Like, they don't have to be playing, but they definitely have to be there. But don't take my word for it. Look for the rules properly. Okay, it looks like that fits. And that will just go in there like that. That has plenty of space on there to get a grip. And again, all this stuff right here doesn't really matter right now because we'll just slap it on the inside and see where we need to go from there. Let's take the plastic off of this side here if we can. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it never comes off. There we go. See? Deburr this just a little bit. What do you think about the new DRS cages? I think they're fine, just like the other cages. I don't see why I would judge them differently from the other ones. Are they finally sold out? I know they had been sold, or back in stock. I don't know if they're still there. I'm working on one Rab Strike with Chronos stock at the end. Sounds good. It's kind of random, Austin. So we actually got pretty matching here. So what we'll go ahead and do here is match this up as best as we can. And then trace out this one. What we can probably do to make it a little more accurate is trace it with the X-Acto. Try to keep it steady. Okay, that gives us an idea of where we need to be. Make it a little bit more defined with the Sharpie here. So we can see that a little bit better. Okay. Measure twice, cut once. Whoops. Hey Ben, I've been reading this webcomic and would like to recommend it to you. I'm so busy, man. I don't know if I could take a recommendation. I could take drivers at some part-time job. If it's homesick, then you're getting banned. If you don't mind, Hawkeye, I would like to send a picture of that Titan Centurion thing to you. Yeah, sure, go for it. Don't send it through my through that email. I barely check that. Do you have me on Discord, or are you on Wacom's Discord server? If not, Etsy would probably be easier. I mean, if you really want to, you can send it through the email, but I'm not going to be able to check it till later. Alright, let me cut this out on the bandsaw. I will be right back. For those of you who are wearing headphones, brace yourselves. You might want to turn me down just a little bit here for a sec. If you tag me on there, I'll see it. So give me one sec, here we go. Alright, so we left a little bit of a space there. You always want to leave a little bit of a space, depending on your skill with the saw, because it can kind of drift a little bit. You might want to make your space a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, depending on your skill. But I got that to a place where I'm comfortable with, and I didn't touch on the inside of there. So now we can kind of start filing and sanding to where we need to be. Nope, don't know what that is, Nano. At what distance is it piercing cardboard? So we'll just keep an eye on that line as we're filing down here. I've done it before. Took some polycarbonate and cut it out, and then put it on top of there, and then put another polycarbonate on top of that. Made it for the Stinger Raven. But I'm used to doing stuff like this, so your results may vary. See you, Nano. Thanks for sticking around. Appreciate it. Alright, I'll check that out later. Okay, we're close enough to that line now where I'm comfortable with changing to the other side here. Put that same round in there. Okay, now work on the other side a little bit. See ya. Thanks for sticking around. I want it to be further along in this than where I'm currently at, but this kind of ate up like 30 minutes. We're at an hour and 35 minutes. Bringing it, I don't even know if you can see that line. No, just trying to bring it as close to that line as I can, but yeah, you can't even see that. It's right on the edge here. We're not quite there. Yeah, you gotta be careful of slipping off the file and whacking yourself with it. I've been pretty good with avoiding it so far, but knew that was gonna happen eventually. Let's go ahead and see how that fits. I think we still need to do a little more, but it doesn't hurt. Yeah, definitely need more. Might go with the Dremel with that just really, really lightly real quick. Yeah, I heard my phone. It's probably Discord. Dremel, just one sec. Applying relatively light pressure there, just trying to get it even. We're not trying to hog off material or anything. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. Better. Still tight. Not sure where that's from, so let's go ahead and do our Sharpie method since that worked out so well last time. That sounded like sarcasm, but I wasn't being sarcastic. Since that worked out so well last time. It actually did. Do both sides here. I like the idea, Hawkeye, of the blaster. Looks good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now we can see exactly where that's rubbing. Because you notice how it's rubbing on this side and not this side? See right up there? This side's a little bit more gray. That's where it's rubbing. So you can kind of see it's also not just about where here I need to sand, but which direction, which angle I need to take it here. So I need to take off a little more on this side. Because if you're off at an angle one way or another, you could keep going this way, keep going this way, this way, this way, and then you go this way once, and all of a sudden that's taken off so much that you're now too far low. So because I have done that before. And it's rubbing here on the bottom as well. Same side. Okay. So we'll re-Sharpie that. If you weren't going to paint this, I would have done the yellow, but not save the blue. But not to save the blue, just because I like the yellow blaster. I don't know why I typed this. Always nice to hear what people would have done, or, you know, opinions. Sorry. Floating off camera. Okay. Whoops. Do the same thing here. Already fits much deeper, I can tell. That's a little bit hard to tell. Let's do that again. Get it in there real good. Okay, now that was a little bit too good. Oh crap. Okay, hold on. Okay. That was a little bit difficult. Yep, still up at the front there. We'll just go ahead and cheat a little bit. Really do need to be careful using the Dremel with precision stuff like this. Relatively precision stuff like this, because you can very, very easily take off way too much very quickly. It's faster, but it's also faster to a mistake. Ah, okay. That almost fits perfectly now. I think we have a little bit of friction up here, right here. Yeah, that's really good. Cool. So now I'm assuming we need to make the little shoulder piece right here, but let's go ahead and see if we can't fit this in here like this. We shouldn't be able to, and sure enough we can't. That one goes in, but the other one that doesn't have that little lip there does not. It will if we do. Okay, so that's good. So now we'll go ahead and get that little divot, make sure we're doing it on the correct side. Make that little Sharpie mark. Double check to make sure we're doing it on the right side in the right place. And we'll go ahead and put on our mask so we can Dremel that. And Dremel running. Not bad, not bad. Go ahead and clean this up just a little bit. So that fits on there like that. This part's a little bit thinner so we can get into that little groove and drive that home. And that fits good. So that actually fits pretty decently without any sort of screw, but obviously we'll drill a hole through here. We'll drill a small hole through here, and then we'll pull this out and tap this hole, and then drill this one out just a little bit more so that there's no threading on there. Good deal. And that lines up the same when I line up these ends. That's good. Okay, that was probably the hard part, is making that bracket. Attaching it to here actually isn't as bad as it's going to sound. Making this bracket was definitely the hard part. So we want to make sure that these are both in there as much as they can go. Independently, we want to make sure that those are going in there, because they're not necessarily even on this side because we didn't measure that. You can see that they're very crooked right now, but they're even on this side. That's all that matters. BRB, not a problem. Give me one sec. That's Heather. So now we'll go ahead and put our mask back on. And basically what I'm going to do is profile this just so that these even up. It's not 100% necessary because it's probably going to be all carved when I put this in the handle. But just for the sake of everything lining up a little bit better, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So, Dremel warning. Also, polycarbonate gets very hot when you take it off in large clumps like this, so if you ever do this, especially with polycarbonate, be careful. If you use PVC, PVC is actually toxic, so you definitely need a mask for that. I'm not going for a particular shape, I'm just trying to even them up. It's important to keep it square like this. It's a little bit more difficult to get inside here with the Dremel, so I'm going to do this with a file. Finish it up with the file at the very least. It's mostly done. And there we go. Now those are perfectly even. So this will be sticking out of our blaster like this. There'll be a little threaded hole right here. And this will be like carry around or whatever. And then this will slip onto the end here. Put in your little set screw. And that will attach just like that. Not bad. Did you ever give the sludge fire to your dad? If you did, what did he say? Take off my mask here. Yeah, he liked it. He hasn't taken it to the office yet, which I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not going to say anything. I think he liked it. I think he likes it, though. So, this friggin' polycarbonate gets everywhere. Hello, Gavin. This will go up a little bit. I can't put it all the way up, but you get the idea. And some of the not most, but some of this will have to go on the inside just because I'm going to need room to mount the switch and the hardware for the HPA rig down here, and it's going to go something like this, make an L shape that way, and then come down here. So it's mainly just going to be, like, it's probably going to be cut out. I don't want to mark on it. It's probably going to be cut out something like this, right here. And it'll just be that this outside ring here. But we have plenty of real estate to work on for this. So one will get attached to this side, and then the other one will get attached to, believe it or not, the other side. I gotta talk to you when your stream's over? Okay. So I'm wondering if that's all I want to do for tonight. We've already been going for 2 hours, 2.5 hours if you can't count the quick stream. That's basically what I wanted to do. I'm wondering if I can keep the screw port here or if I'm going to have to get rid of it. I'm probably going to have to get rid of this screw port. I definitely want to keep this one, but I'm probably going to have to get rid of this one. Which sucks, but, you know, is what it is. We'll worry about that when the time comes up. Let's go ahead and vacuum up a little bit. Not perfect, but it's good enough for now. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Gavin. I haven't made up my mind. Yeah, I'm happy with that so far. That'll be nice. I like the shape of that. I really like the shape of that. It's different. What do you guys think? So we're approaching, we're at an hour and 56 minutes, 56 minutes, excuse me, hour 56 minutes here. So we're probably going to be wrapping up. If you guys have any questions, comments, now would be the time to do them, and I'll try to get around to that. But we're going to be finishing up here. No inspiration for this blaster. It's mainly necessity, because I have to have the tank back here if I want to keep the normal pumping action instead of the reverse pumping action. And if I'm going to have this back here, it can't really have a stock coming out of here, so I'm going to have a stock coming out of here. And so it's kind of made out of necessity, but I like it. It's grown on me. Reminds you of a scout rifle. BO3. So function over form. Well, it's actually pretty comfortable, but yeah, basically. It's kind of grown on me, because I like my blasters to look good. If to be quite honest, if I didn't like the look of it, I probably would have figured out a different solution. But I happen to like this, so because it was going to be an attachment point like a regular one, but it was so big and bulky, and I didn't like that. It was making this bottom thing like a huge knob down here, and I hated that, so I ended up just cutting down the stock and doing it this way. You said that already, Gavin. Reminds you of the sharp fire. That's a good point, Trico. It's hard to line this up when nothing is done properly yet. I thrifted a $10 Elite long shot. Nice. Casted parts in this build? I'm not sure. Maybe later. Definitely not at the moment, just because I want to get this done before March. But maybe I'll make improvements on it one day. I don't really like orange parts on my stuff, so I wouldn't put that out of the question. But for right now, it's not going to, just because of my time restriction. I'd like to do the jam door and this top part right here, and then basically all the orange parts. That trigger. I'd also like to do an extended mag release. Don't normally like extended mag releases, but this one has the side magazine release, and I hate that. I can't stand that. So I'd still be using this finger. I wouldn't be grabbing it like this because I don't like that. But it kind of needs an extended mag release down here. So maybe I'll make one of those. If I do, it'd probably be 3D printed for now and then cast later. Again, just because of time restrictions. That'd be kind of cool to make an extended release for that. I don't think this is... And I know it's been done for other blasters, but I'm not sure if it's been done for the Alpha Trooper. I'm sure someone's done it. What paint colors are you going to use? I'm surprised anyone asked. Hold on one sec. These. White, gray, blue. So you prefer cast parts or metal parts, and why? Depends what it is, depends what look I'm going for, depends what structural needs it is. Metal's generally harder, so if I can avoid it, I will, but if I really want something made out of metal, I'll make it. Would you release said magazine release? Yeah, probably. Wow, the stream quality is just freaking terrible. I don't know if you guys are seeing it like that, but oh my god, that's like freaking 2040, 240. That's freaking awful. I'm not sure if it's that low for you guys, but I don't know. I might. Maybe I'll release it to like Containment Crew or something. I can sell those, but I don't know if I'd do it free. Not sure if the demand's high enough though. It's not a Springer RZ. If you notice the tank in the back. I'm aware. I'm gonna give you a Vulcan with a chain part. What? Do you have a Patreon? No, I don't. Not enough people would donate to that for me to justify a Patreon. And I'm sure someone in the community would be like, why is he begging for money? Because, you know. Are you going to use LED lights for this blaster? Again, probably not before I get this operational, just because I want to get this done in time for mid-March, so I have like less than a month to do this. So my goal right now is just to get this functional, get the stock on, get all of the parts functioning, and then I'll worry about painting it in LEDs later. It's going to be kind of hard for me to not do LEDs on a blaster just because I'm me. So maybe is the current point, but I don't have any more plans than just these paint colors at the moment. So we shall see. You keep saying that, Meow, but I still haven't received any payment, so just saying. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not making much of a difference. I think you're forgetting, RZ, that I'm not really liked in the community. I don't need another reason for people to hate me. Not everybody's willing to buy it, RZ and Gavin. And that as well, Meow. Thank you, I appreciate that, Patrick. That means a lot. I like inspiring people. That means a lot to me. Shut up, Phil. No, I'm just not a popular guy. I'm hard to get along with. Welcome back. We're wrapping up here. We should have wrapped up like 10 minutes ago, but we're actually wrapping up here. I should put my hands in the video so you guys know I'm still alive. Thank you, Gavin. Hey, it's an HPA Alpha Trooper. Yeah, sure is. Got the tank back here. It's gonna be sweet. I'm moving the tank from inside of here to back here. It's gonna give me about 4 inches of dead space, but what that's gonna allow is for this to be the resting position, and I can prime it normally. Whoops. I can prime it normally, as opposed to a reverse prime, which would be back here and then pumping it forward, which would be really awkward. So I'm moving this back here for the sake of ergonomics. Well, some people who don't like you have long blonde girl hair and look like a hipster as hobo. So, oh, I was like, who are you talking about? That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was like, Drac? What? Drac likes me. It's not a big deal. I'm not looking for pity. Sorry, I didn't mean to start something. Okay, that's actually gonna drive me nuts. I was gonna ignore that dust in there, but it's actually driving me nuts. The rest of the blaster I can deal with, but I was looking at that way too long. I love the stock, by the way. I see it's not integrated yet, but that's, yeah, took a little bit, but I made the polycarbonate pieces, and that's going to lock into there like that. These are two separate plates, so one will be to one side of the shell, one will be to the other, and then I'm going to, so I'll be able to remove it, stick it in there. I'm going to drill a hole all the way through and then have a thumb screw there, just so it locks it in there. It's actually fits in there pretty well right now, which I'm pretty proud of that fit. But I'll just have a thumb screw so I can lock it down. So that should be pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it. I was going to do the stock attachment point. I wanted to do that because I really like this stock and I didn't want to sacrifice it. But it was so, you can see how much of just the top I cut off. This was on here like this. And then I had to cut off on the sides quite a bit as well. It was just like such a bulbous thing down here. I couldn't figure out how to make it work the way I wanted it to. So I was just like, screw it, and I made it proprietary. I'm happy with how it's coming out though. I appreciate that, Patrick. It's high praise. I didn't mean to start stuff. I apologize. Let's drop it. We should wrap up here anyway. Okay. So, I think that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. We haven't forgotten about our project that shall not be named. We still need to put in a plate down here so we can get that going. I might just do epoxy putty, epoxy sculpt this time. And we still need to do a few more things for the body work. Obviously, we need to sand this down and get some epoxy sculpt work in there. I'm not sure what I want to do with this. Maybe I'll make another aluminum plate. Maybe I'll make it plastic this time. I'm not sure if the aluminum aesthetic would fit with the theme that we're going with. So I still need to figure out something like that. But we'll figure it out. I need the flared mag wells on here, obviously, because I can no longer function without a flared magazine well, which I might have to make one for this. But we'll see if I use this enough to justify a flared magazine well, because it takes a lot of design effort. I don't know if I feel like doing that. Anyway, getting on a tangent. It'll be a second meow before I can do that. Painted like a zapper. That's gonna be cool. Post that on Wacom's Discord and tag me in it if you end up finishing that Space Cowboy. I'd like to see that. Been Have you seen the new Airsoft Nerf Blaster thing? No more than pictures. I haven't seen anything more than that. Okay. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate all of you guys who have been sticking here this whole time, 2 hours, 12 minutes. So that pretty much does it. Thank you guys for watching, and end stream.